it's clear your ass chief has a problem with me, but when he says that there's a bunch of complaints about me and doesn't try to get my side of the story, doesn't it kind of look like he has an inherent bias?
Well, I don't know, Hannah. I was just made aware of a document about a bunch of complaints brought forth about me that I've never heard about. They're pending the decision whether or not I will be banned from being patrolling the South. So whenever those complaints are want to be brought to me for context, I'm more than happy to talk about them, and clear up any bias that might be stemming from them.
I don't know anything about it, brother.
Yeah.
Are you talking shit about the mayor on Twitter?
Yes, when he's doing dumb shit, which is my freedom to talk freely on Twitter.
I mean,
have you been talking shit during a funeral with your 4 dead cops?
Did your assistant Tilly
Cassidy,
listen?
Cassidy,
Since we're doing the one-by-one talking, I'll answer the question. I'm answering the question. I'm answering the question. Is it my turn to talk, Nino, since you're moderating this? Are we passing? We're passing moderation.
I'm moderator now. Okay.
Can I get the talking stick?
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
Is this what
Thank you.
I personally don't give a shit, Ventura.
Thank you so much. Let me get the talking stick.
Hold on.
Great to do on drinking that.
Somebody give the chief their baton so we could have talking sticks out. Okay, you're gonna pass your baton back to the chief.
The mayor, you mean?
To the mayor, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right, so okay, never mind.
Freudian slip.
So was I talking shit to Nino on Twitter? Yes, for sure was. Would you like to know why, or is this like in court? You asked a specific question, I give a specific answer.
It's between you and the mayor right now. So
would you like me to explain why?
I personally,
I have the stick. I have the stick. I have the stick. Hold on.
You can pass it to me. You have just handed me government equipment.
Yes.
Ventura. Did you think that was a good idea?
Yes.
You're a government worker.
You're currently under arrest, Ventura. That was a test.
Wait, can you be an arrest, Nino, for having possession of government equipment?
I was handed it mechanically.
Mechanically?
When people hand me stuff, I can't help but grab it.
If you press charges, it's power gaming.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what
Is there a charge for that?
That's a problem with the BCSO.
Oh, there is.
Jesus fucking Christ! You see that?
Yeah, I talk shit. What's wrong with me talking shit?
Who's got the stick right now?
Well, he gave it back to
I
me.
mean, most of this conversation's a bit irrelevant, because of the following. Peters is still working on something.
Mhm.
All right. I don't know why, transparently, because I was in the car when he was in a chase. This guy literally is waking up like I am, drinking coffee. He spent like 2 minutes on something, and everyone's up his ass.
I just finished my coffee, by the way.
Before the guy can finish his shit and answer questions, should probably let him do that.
Am I supposed to have an answer to that, or?
No.
Not really. I'm just saying this is like a pointless topic.
Okay.
I just brought up the fact that whenever people want to ask me about or talk to me about said complaints that are being brought forth, I will more than willing to talk about them in full transparency. Because I have no reason to lie.
When you're under sheriff and sheriff.
I have no reason to lie about anything.
Is he? He's actively banned from the South, isn't he?
Who, Cassidy? Or
Yeah.
oh
no, Ventura.
Not yet. I don't
know how you would.
reality is
I thought it was.
Wait,
I need to. No, not right now. We can talk later in the car. I don't think it's necessarily appropriate to talk right now. I filled Ventura in on what's going on, and I think that's where it needs to kind of like lay until we figure everything out.
Banned from being like on duty, or
no? He's not banned from
reference, by the way, Ventura, because I'm sure you're thinking this.
Yeah.
Peters, who brought? Did I bring this up to you guys?
No. It wasn't. So it wasn't brought up by Nino. So
Well,
it wasn't brought
in
up
part
by
of
Nino.
it is the shit talking to Nino on the day of the funeral. Since he brought it up,
I don't even know. I don't even fucking know.
It's. I mean, I'll address that specifically, Ventura, and I'll
Okay.
give you my perspective. Right. There are 4 cops that have died. There is a funeral that is proceeding. We're not even going to get into the martial bullshit that Angel pulled off, and your involvement in that. We're not even going to enter into this. Is that I'm preparing for going to a funeral for 4 officers. I'm dealing with this bullshit. We arrive, and in the midst of people speaking about their losses and asking for restraint and asking for a level of unity, there are tweets going out about the funeral being ruined and this and that in the midst of all that. And it makes you wonder, right? It makes you wonder that does this person actually care if these officers are dead, or whether they're more interested in memeing on Twitter? Do you care about them? Do you care about yourself? Do you care about other future officers that may die?
Mhm.
That in and of itself is not only unprofessional, but it's a question about, you know, your moral compass, quite frankly.
Okay, so I've let you give your perspective. I'll give mine now.
Go ahead.
I, as an officer, on this great island of ours, wake up on Saturday, day of the funeral, albeit, to noticing that you made the decision for whatever reason. I don't know, not knowing to me, I'm not going to speculate. To reduce all fines in the city by 66%. The result of that, which would inherently make it so that the charge in which people are given when they shoot us and or try to kill us, being reduced to just above
he doesn't know,
$2,000.
does he?
Listen,
Hold on,
I'm giving
hold on, hold
giving
on.
perspective in the
Okay,
moment,
sorry.
Peters.
Let him
Sorry.
talk.
I'm giving perspective in the moment. So, perspective in the moment when it looks like to us officers is you didn't care enough to think through what that would do for everything.
Okay.
Did
Did you call me?
I'm talking 1 second now.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, but I didn't interrupt you, so I just want to keep the same energy for that.
Yeah, go for it.
Noticing that stuff like this, stuff that is sort of put in place to de-incentivize people from hurting us and or robbing us and or doing sort of things to us while we're trying to do our job, has been beat down to his knees and subject to an insignificant fine amount. Yeah, I was pissed off. Fast forward to the funeral.
Can I address that first before going to the
Let
funeral?
me just finish my thought so I don't lose my train of thought.
Go ahead.
If you wouldn't mind. Fast forward to the funeral at MRPD, as we're all standing outside the car, and I'm standing outside my car in silence, in a moment of silence, while Officer Nixon is going through a speech. I noticed that Tilly, standing next to you, is twatting out or retweeting slander about Angel on Twitter, pushing the narrative, the hate speech towards Angel on Twitter, and I get
speech?
people are hating
use that
about.
phrase, but
Yeah,
continue.
hate speech is.
My,
listen, that's like
I mean it.
racism
I
and
mean it
shit,
in the
so you
sense.
know.
Sorry, I mean in the sense of hateful things being said about Angel on Twitter is what I meant. I apologize. Tilly is.
Hold on. Like, what kind? Is it hateful? Because I feel like there's like
Uh,
this.
Wait,
let
Sorry
him
to
finish his
interrupt.
thought. Let him finish his
Someone
thought.
move their LSPD Taurus so we can get our cars out and go patrol.
What's the badge number
Yeah.
on it?
I don't know.
I think it's Deckers.
409.
Yeah, I got you. That's mine.
So
Thank you there, Mr. Hannah.
yeah, things are being said about Angel. How Angel is the I don't know specifics, but of the nature of
Okay.
Angel is the villain. She hates us, whatever, things of that nature. So anti-Angel, I guess. Things on Twitter. I guess we could sum it up if you think that's
What
fair.
is your relationship with that?
With what?
With that? Well, once
What-
you're done, I'll address it all.
So Tilly, while standing there, whilst we're having moments of silence and we're sort of paying our respects initially, pulls out her phone and is just nudging that, retweeting that. I found that disrespectful myself, so I twatted at Tilly in that moment. I said, "You could at least not twat during this if you're
That's
gonna
not what
pretend
I
to
said,
care."
right?
No, it is what I said then and there. I said, "If you're gonna pretend to care, at least don't twat during this." Then we fast forward to the funeral itself. Throughout the whole funeral, I didn't twat anything till the end, when I twatted at you and I said something along the lines of, Nino, you can leave now. Your PR stunt's over. I did twat that 100%.
Where was my relationship with this?
What was your relationship? With perspective wise to me during that day.
We'll go through all. We'll go through all it.
We will.
Let's start from the beginning. Did you call me?
I wasn't done yet still, but.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then
Go
fast
ahead.
forward to right after the funeral, within 5 minutes, I think even before you and Tilly and Moss left funeral grounds, Tilly twats out something along the lines of, "Don't forget, Sandy Saturday starting today!" ! Which really pissed me off because we just finished a fucking funeral. Nobody fucking cares about Sandy Saturday. So then I did go off and I said a bunch of stuff. I could say what I said. I know what I said. If you care to hear it again, and I don't regret saying what I said with all context. And that's my perspective as a law enforcement officer, getting on my shift that day and seeing that fines in the city were nuked low, without any thought forth, it seems, of the impact it would have on all fines in general. It just seemed like a jerk decision to.
You had assumptions. Let's leave it at that.
Of course, I'm allowed to interpret things.
Yeah, you're allowed. Okay.
Same how you interpret things
Are you
about
done?
me. I'm with that now. But
you
same
done?
how you make interpretations of me, I'm allowed to do them of
Are
you.
you done?
I am.
Okay, beautiful. You did not call me. you got on Twitter and you stated cops are now worth one across. Now, I think anyone with a semblance of like common sense is going to know you're memeing out there and you're putting it out there in the midst of what was a conversation between Angel and myself. All right. Now, you did not call me. You did not ask for clarity. You did not bring up if you had a problem with the fine going down. What do? You call the mayor and you say, why did it go down? Now, the specific nature of what makes this egregious is by tweeting out that cops are now worth one across, you have now told everyone in the city immediately that your life is worth half. Now, all of a sudden, now, even if you could make the argument that I'm making you worth less, you've now announced it to everybody in the city. Now, secondly, not once did you call me, bring up the concern, or ask
But
why.
the state announcement
You
of the
ran on
fine
an
reduction
assumption
isn't letting
and
it
you
know.
started making actions on it. Now I'll give you the background, is there's a lot of conversations that you are not privy to, which ultimately resulted in these fines going back. Now, my first question to you is, did you call Angel after the fine went down?
So now that my turn.
Did you? Did you?
Well, am I gonna?
Well, I'm asking for the question because
Okay. I'm going to touch on one thing you said before I answer the question.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You're stating how I made it known that officers' lives were at that value at that moment in time. My counter argument would be your state announcement stating that fines were lowered to that amount in itself lets anyone with basic knowledge of math do that own conclusion on their own.
Is now when you bring down all fines, how many charges are there in the city?
I don't know the exact number. I'm not going to pretend like I know.
50 to 100.
Maybe more.
Fair? Maybe more. So when you bring it down by 50%, are you specifically bringing it down on killing cops? Or is it for everything in the city, from traffic to whatever?
I don't think it's an unfair assumption for me to make that the mayor, before making the decision, had a well thought out process and went through and made sure that everything was correct before just flat out reducing everything. I think
what
it's
is correct?
I think honestly, so I'm sorry for talking over you there, but I think honestly, me assuming that you thought it through is better than me just thinking you made no thought to this and you just made the decision on your own. I had the faith that you at least thought about this first and you took everything to an account, all these charges, before making this flat out decision. And because I didn't call you to confirm it doesn't mean that doesn't mean anything in specific.
And this is like, if you think something has changed that is not good for the police department, wouldn't the first step be making a phone call and being like, why did you do this? Have you considered that?
The first, why isn't that my first step you're asking?
Yes.
Because like I said, I thought it was something you'd already thought through. I would assume you thought through it.
In the future, when something changes, are you going to pick up the phone call possibly?
I would hope from this point on you would think this sort of thing through. Is my answer to that. I don't. Why would I have? Why would I have to?
Why not pick up a phone?
Why is it my responsibility to hold your hand through this and tell you that, hey, by the way, your mass reduction in fine.
Yeah.
Because you're basically asking me, why didn't I call you and point out the very obvious problem?
You noticed the problem, right?
If I could notice when you've called me an idiot repeatedly, how could you not notice it when making the action?
So, do you believe that communication is valuable or not valuable?
I do.
Okay. So why not communicate what you see as an issue?
I did.
To who?
To up my command, up my chain, which would have been Angel. You're not in my chain, Nino. I don't have to call you anything. Why do I have to call you?
Okay. So you called Angel.
I did.
Who then brought it up to me.
Exactly.
Right. Are you concerned that Angel changed the fines in time in the back end?
Explain what you mean by am I concerned about it? Do I think it's an issue?
Yeah. If the DOJ is changing fines and times on their own.
I don't have full knowledge on what they can or can't do or have the authority to do.
So assumptions about what I did. Why not?
I'm not going to assume Angel doesn't have the power to do that or does have the power. I would assume that she knows what she's doing. Exactly what I did for you. I assumed you knew what you were doing.
Okay.
So whether or not Angel has the authority
Mhm.
to change fines in the back end or did it or can, that's not for me to think. I think Angel knows what she can and can't do. And I put faith in Angel to do what she can and can't do.
Yes.
I don't know if that's true.
There you go.
Okay.
Hello.
That
I-
kind of wraps the bow on
So
this.
because I have faith in the head justice and leader of the marshals to have knowledge of
They
what
run
she
the
can and can't
city
do.
like a bunch of warlords with infinite power that can change anything at a will that can't be
So
contested.
the point you were making, Nino, is I didn't call you about the issue, though I called somebody else who called
Yeah.
you.
Well, before going up on Twitter and advertising.
I'm allowed to say whatever I want on Twitter, as long as it's not egregious.
Well, here's what you might be missing when you are a law enforcement officer and you're making statements while on
Mhm.
duty. Those twats, the actions that come out of it, you are held accountable to it.
Perfect. Then that's for my command to decide if there's
So
punishment that's needed for it.
Well, it goes beyond that too, right?
Right.
If actions take place as a side effect of your actions while on duty, it is more than just your command.
So what?
I'm not saying this. I'm correcting your statement.
So what highly
Yes, you
specific
can-
hypothetical are you alluding to with this one?
There's no.
Are you saying that
your
me
statement is
twatting
wrong.
out cops are
There's-
not worth a lot of money? If a cop went and got shot because of it, it could be articulated that I'm an accessory to some extent because I made a twat making it known. Because it sounds like that's what you're alluding to some extent, and that's me making another assumption.
It's hard to say when the marshal said that you can't look at public documents because you can get fined for it and it's illegal. So
I don't even know what you're talking about with that one.
wait, they didn't come down to BCSO and say it?
They didn't come down to BCSO. They only came to me and threatened to fire my
What?
department.
Well, it's possible they did. I'm not here at every moment of the day in every meeting.
Oh,
No,
I assumed that they came up here as well. Okay, so there's a lot of context you're missing here, Ventura.
Like I said,
So
I explained my
going-
perspective.
Going back, so now we're going to the funeral now, right?
Mhm.
Why did you think it? Why during the procession, it was worth tweeting out things about me? While they're talking for unity and there's 4 officers being buried. You mentioned Tilly, but I'm not seeing the relationship here when you named me and not Tilly.
For reference, the only twat that went out at the funeral was after the procession was finished, because that's when I remember twatting out
I
the
saw
funeral.
the tweets. Well, no, because the tweets came out. I saw them. I
My-
have notifications on, and
Mhm.
you sent 2 tweets out.
My first twat at the funeral was the one where saying this is done now, you can leave, and that was at the end of the procession.
It was a PR stunt.
Yeah, I
You
said
know,
this is a PR stunt. The PR stunt's over. You can leave.
So you took out your phone in the midst of the
At the end of it?
procession.
At the end of it.
It was during it.
Okay.
I've
Well,
got
you say I
timestamps.
say, so it's fine.
Yeah, I got timestamps.
Okay.
So you're saying it was after the procession now,
At the end of the procession, yeah, right at the end.
not during the procession.
During identify what procession. What do you mean by procession? When people are
Procession
talking
is-
at the meeting, when people are talking at the
Over their bodies, and we're all lined up, and we have the umbrellas out, and people are taking turns giving their condolences.
after people were done talking, that's when I twatted.
Was it during or after the procession?
In my opinion, it was after. I don't know. I don't know if your opinion of when
define when the procession ends.
of my opinion, the procession, listen, the
Were people actively
funeral was
leaving the
over, in my
funeral?
opinion, when I twatted. If you want a hyper specific, in my opinion, when the funeral was over, I twatted. I don't know how more clear I can be on that one.
Did the funeral
W-
end
You're
when people
trying to
left?
get like a specific answer when I'm saying the funeral was done, in my opinion, when I twatted. How
What made you feel like it was over?
the fact that people were leaving.
Ah,
Usually people leave when something's done,
Okay.
Nino.
okay. So when these photos show
These
that
twats?
is not the case, and you've sent out these 2 tweets,
Okay, of
you're gonna still
Go-
stand by.
go ahead.
Okay, all right.
course.
I wasn't expecting this to be.
And are you asking again
difficult.
for context as to why I directed stuff
Yeah,
towards you?
why during the procession were you sending out tweets?
Because, like I said, contextually, earlier in the day, seeing that you devalued our lives inherently with your decision, maybe not intentionally. I'm not going to say intentionally, but inherently devalued our lives on duty.
But it
Okay.
went back up.
You still did it though.
Okay, for 5 minutes.
If I shot someone but they didn't die, did I still shoot them?
You're making a kind of a massive leap that
No, but you like making
is
leaps, Nino,
targeting
for yourself.
shooting
You like making
up.
leaps for your own narrative and having
which
own
leap did I
conversations with
make?
yourself and
What
looking for
leap
your
did I
specific
make?
answers. But when I make the
I'm
same
not.
leaps,
I was
or
asking
I
you
make
to
I make
define-
the same inferences, it's a problem.
What are you saying? Like, what,
We just went
when
into a
did that
circle for
happen?
45 minutes to figure out what the end of a funeral is when I said the same thing over
because
and
you
over
were
again.
dodging an answer.
I wasn't dodging answer. You're looking for an answer that you want to hear, and you're not liking my answer. I'm not going to answer the questions with answers you want. I'm going to answer with my opinions.
No, you can, but like when you're asked, like, what do you mean by this, and you don't want to answer it.
I
that's
think me
dodging.
clarifying that I twatted at the end of the funeral is as clear cut as it can get. I don't think there's
Alright.
any confusion
Okay,
on that.
you know what? So what? So you are standing by that you believe I reduced the fines across the city so that cops will get shot.
Not what I said. I don't know why you're putting that word in my mouth.
I'm-
Same
that's why
way.
that's why I'm
That's
asking
not what I
the
said. That's
question.
you pushing another
Because
narrative.
that's-
Same way how
No,
let me
bitch,
talk.
listen.
Let me talk.
No,
Nino,
me
Nino,
finish the
you're
response.
Nino. Like this or not, you're nothing up here.
I'm
You're a fucking
asking
citizen
this.
up here. So don't call me a
I'm
bitch
asking-
in my department,
I
okay?
am
The same
asking-
way when
I
you
am
asked
asking
me,
you-
if I just said I don't like Moss as a chief, when
Listen,
my
Ventura,
statement
I
was
genuinely
the
believe you're
LSPD needs
retarded,
BCSO's
all
help
right, if I'm
in
gonna
the
be
South.
honest.
I said the
And-
LSPD needs BCSO's help in the South, and you
it's
can
very
ask them for
obvious
that.
I think anyone who's
I said you can
listening-
ask them for that if you want to hear their side. And you said, so what you're saying is Chief Moss is a bad chief. That is not what I said.
said that.
Don't put words in my mouth. Stop trying to put words in my mouth.
No,
Stop trying to
it's-
push your own
it's-
narrative
it's-
because you
look,
think you're
listen.
always right and you're never wrong. Nino,
Who based on what?
I don't give a fuck
Based
what
on
your
what?
narrative is. I know what's true. I know what happened. You can fight me on that every day. You can try to push me out of your fucking city all you want. Try to come up
Where
with
is this
any
coming
random
from?
fucking complaints
Where's
that
this
are against
coming
me.
from?
They're not fucking
You're
true.
shaking
Hit
right now.
me with
shaking.
facts, not
You're
lies.
shaking on
Because
me
you think you're
saying-
so right. You think you're so smart,
Right.
but you're not making
He is
sense.
pretty
Listen,
intelligent. I'm
sweetheart,
gonna be honest.
listen,
Right. Just
sweetheart.
because you're
The
you're a
reason-
trainee
the reason-
psychologist.
Ventura, listen.
Go ahead.
The reason I said, and this is very normal in conversations, is you said something, and I told you, are you saying that because I reduced it by 50%, that it's inferring I did so to kill cops, is not to put words in your mouth, all right? It's what adults do to say, is this what I believe? Is this what you are saying? So it gives you an opportunity to correct it.
So
There's a
what part?
difference.
What part about me saying your decision
No,
inherently?
just-
No,
you
but
don't- don't
I'm
get into an
clarifying you.
argument
I'm
about it. Go
clarifying
and
you.
clarify
I'm
this
clarifying
thing.
you.
Go,
That's
thank
what I'm
you.
doing.
All right.
What when I said your decision to reduce fines inherently,
Yeah.
and I clarified, I'm not going to say you intentionally did it for this. I said your decision inherently reduced the value of cops' lives. I said that was my statement. Do you agree?
Right.
Okay.
So,
But then you
so-
ask me. You ask me. You said so. What you're saying is I lowered the cost of fines or to devalue cops' lives. That's literally what you asked me to confirm. When you just agreed that's not what I said. I don't understand how that's your question.
So the reason that's asked is you're taking because you believe inherently cops' lives went down by 50%. That is the reason that you sent out those tweets. Am I correct here?
I said because contextually. No, I'll clarify that for you for sure. Contextually in the
trying to
moment,
understand
yeah,
how you
I'm
went
gonna answer
from
your
here
question.
all
I'm
the
gonna
way
answer
over
your
there.
question. I'm
Yeah.
gonna answer the question. I said contextually, your actions having
What do you
inherently
mean
caught
contextually?
contextually to Saturday, my thought process of Saturday, because that's what you're asking. What made me send those tweets? Right? Yes?
Sorry, say again?
I said you're asking what was my mindset on Saturday to send those tweets, right? Why
where's
was I doing
Nino
that?
at? Are we leaving?
I'm right over here.
Oh fuck! I'm
Do we
blind
still
as a
need to
bat.
talk about this?
No,
The thing
I'm-
is, Peters
Well-
is walking over here. This was mostly for
I mean,
Peters
no,
and
Nino.
me, right?
I think
Because
you
you're
know,
out
I
to defend
think your
yourself with
mind
me,
is
right?
pretty made up, you know,
Yeah,
so
Mine
it's
is
fine.
made up on what? I mean, they're.
I just think there's
you
no
do
having a
remember that
conversation. I think
the
you like
reason
having
you were
conversations
having-
with yourself, Nino, not to really get to a point.
Well, hold on.
I
So
don't know why
Ventura,
you're saying these.
hold
things,
on a
to be
second,
honest.
Ventura.
I'm
Before
just
you
saying that he's the one that was supposed to be hearing it. I
Yeah.
don't-
So before you shoot yourself in the foot, listen. The Second Amendment in our Constitution is the right to free speech.
Mhm.
You are 100% allowed to voice your opinion, but there's a difference between misconduct and freedom of speech. So when you have a job, freedom of speech does not cover misconduct. I think that's the issue that we're kind of like looking at right now.
Of course.
So that's ultimately like what's going on. It's like, you know, is it professional? No. Should you be doing it? No. You know, obviously you can air your grievances out. People are literally entitled to their political opinion and vote for whoever they want. That's one of the great things about America. But when you work for the government, the issue is, you know, you have all these other things that come into play. So ultimately, you know, I mean, that's pretty much it at this point.
Yep. And like I said, if my command and or the command of the PD wanted to issue punishments, I will always take a punishment because I feel like I would deserve one if they wanted to give one. Though I'm just saying I don't regret what I said, but I will take whatever punishment comes from it.
100%. I need to figure out what the fuck is going on with everything that comes forward, because I personally know a lot of things will get brought up about people that are blown out of they're blown into epic proportion, and before anybody actually looks into it, the officer's then disciplined, as I have dealt with that in the past myself.
Yep.
Therefore, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. But so you know, we are kind of fucking
all good. And whatever convo you want to have about anything, let me know, and I'll be willing to have it.
And listen, I'm leaving it at this. I don't know what you think I think about you, right? But I'm down to talk more. But like I said, the original reason that we were having this is so Peters can hear it.
Okay, no problem.
I just, you know, I think in the future, if there's an issue with any decisions I'm making down in my county, you can pick up the phone and we can talk through it. But if all of a sudden shits are going to Twatter and you're doing this and you're doing that, you also have to understand that I'm also going to have my opinions about it, right? But I'm speaking to you as I'm willing to speak with anyone that gives me a call.